From the 38 now, here's second down and 7.
Let's go now. 70 Timberwolves. Let's go.
He'll drop to throw. He's got a man wide open, the tight end, complete. And they're going to work this down inside the 45. Well, they hook up again, second time on this drive, and this one's good for 18 yards and a first down. On the ground, it's Walker. Gets to the edge at the 30. And he will score! Kenneth Walker, touchdown Seattle. That his first touchdown of the new year.
And that's one of the best elements of this run game is just how explosive they can be. And it has felt like they've been on the verge of breaking one a few times here, Mike, and then they finally make it happen here. Catch the end zone, first time today.
Seahawks head coach Mike McDonald there. His guys head back out for their next possession. Greg, you take a peek back and look at the NFC West in totality. You just are reminded of how quick things change. I don't think anybody in the country thought the 49ers would be the last place team in this division last year. Shows you, one, how changeable it is, but also the quality of teams in this division.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, they were the Super Bowl favorite, at least out of the NFC a year ago, and then to find themselves 6 and 11 at the bottom looking up, pretty remarkable. But to your point, Mike, it just shows health, a little bit of good fortune. The other teams in your division, if they're a little weaker, your path is stronger. There's so many elements. The way the NFL schedule is set up, it's all tied. If you're good, we're trying to bring you back down towards the middle. If you're bad, we're trying to bring you up towards the middle. It's a league of parity. It's a league of ups and downs. And the teams that can break through that and sustain success, we got to give them a lot of credit.
And what I love about this division, Greg, is the different philosophical challenges that defenses see. We know what Kyle Shanahan does with the Niners. The Rams and Sean McVay always at the top end of the game. And then the unpredictability of Kyler Murray, plus the physicality that Seattle has played with. You've got to have a lot of clubs in your bag to play defense in the NFC West.
Oh, absolutely. And just think even a couple years ago, it was even harder. When those teams were all competing for Super Bowls year in and year out. So it's a really good division. You have to be able to play really top.
A throw left side, going to be intercepted. Picked off by Juan Thornhill. And the Steelers will take over here just shy of the 30.
I think you chalk this one up, Mike, to just a rookie mistake. And anytime you have a young signal caller behind center, you're going to have to deal with some of these ups and downs. Every once in a while.
Out comes the Seattle offense as they get ready for their next possession. Now, Greg, as we get the season going, obviously the adjustment to last year's new kickoff rules in place. We talked to a lot of coaches during the year. Folks didn't seem too bothered about letting the other team have the ball at the 30-yard line after a touchback. But the 35-yard line, I don't know, does that feel any different to you?
You know, it does, and I think the part that people don't talk about enough, Mike, is the impact that it's making on going forward on fourth down, not settling for field goals. Because remember, in the old days, if you got stopped inside the 5 or you scored inside the 5, it was all the difference of if I kicked a touchback, they got the ball at the 20. There wasn't that much of a spread, but now all of a sudden, is it in my best interest to settle for a field goal and kick off when I could give you the ball at the 35? Or even if I fail down there tight in the red zone on the 3, you now possess the ball inside your own 5-yard line. So I think that's an element now that's causing offenses to go for more touchdowns, kick less field goals, because the ensuing kickoff is giving my opponent the ball in much more favorable territory.
You know, the other rule that is adjusted are overtimes in the regular season will mirror playoff overtime. Each team getting the ball I'm so happy, Greg, because it just felt so incomplete when a team got to overtime, but then their offense, which may be the best part of the team, never got on the field.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more, and you hear everyone saying, oh, well, just get us.
Well, Seahawks offense going to have a first crack at it as we begin this third quarter. Well, Greg, as the season starts, really the season never ends. Think back to the schedule release, the draft has become this multi-day huge event. Green Bay crushed it with all the folks around the stadium in Lambeau, and some big names will be tied to that draft forever. A couple of the rookies that you've watched that are just sticking out in your mind, interested to see how they fit in the league as this season gets going.
You know, obviously so much attention around the quarterback position. Cam Ward goes number 1, and then obviously Shador and all the conversations around that as the draft unfolded. But I think a guy that's going to be fun to watch when you talk about fit, I think you look at Ashton Jenkins. He gets drafted by Vegas. He's now with the Raiders. Pete Carroll. It kind of has the feel of, is he his Marshawn Lynch? Is he the bell cow back, under center, Geno Smith, play action, set up that run game, play good defense? This feels like the early path Pete Carroll took when he took over in Seattle and turned them into a Super Bowl champion. So I'm not saying Genty's Marshawn Lynch, but he certainly feels like that's the fit the Raiders were going for when they took him with their first-round pick.
Hey, let me ask you about Travis Hunter. And he's in! Kenneth Walker, touchdown Seahawks. 2 touchdowns for him now on the afternoon.
You just don't see these kind of holes too often at this NFL level, Mike, and you can see once he got the ball, the clear line to the end zone, he doesn't get touched, and an unfortunate defensive breakdown here.
Seahawks offense getting set to get back to work. Well, Greg, it will be a very busy stretch for the passports. A lot of international games to look forward to. 7 in all outside the U.S. Chiefs and Chargers last week in Sao Paulo. Great ones to follow. Vikings and Steelers in Dublin. Vikings in London playing the Browns the very next week. Broncos and Jets. Rams and Jags will also play in London week 6 and 7. The Falcons and the Colts are going to be in Germany in week 10. And then the Commanders and Dolphins wrap up the international slate. Picked off by Darius Slay. And he is going to score. A pick 6 for the touchdown. The Seahawks offense ready to see what they can do with this next possession. Greg, it's one of those weird feelings you build all year for the opener. And you play a tight game and lose, it kind of changes the feeling coming into this week a little bit.
Yeah, it certainly does, and if you're not careful, what's that cardinal rule? You don't want one loss to turn into 2, one bad play to turn into 2. The best teams in this league, Mike, they have an uncanny ability that regardless, good or bad, blowout or close ones from the previous week before, it doesn't lead into the next week's work and ultimately the next week's game. So we'll find out, were they able to learn from the good? And there certainly was a lot of it. But can they move forward today and not let the disappointment of last week trickle into today?
Here's 3rd and 2. Now Seattle going to use the first of their timeouts. They'll talk things over before 3rd down. Now, faking the give. Little short pass here, caught by his tight end. And he's out of bounds inside the 45-yard line. 1st and 10.
First down, Seahawks. 18 Cardinal, 18 Cardinal.
So, 3 quarters have come and gone. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. On On play action, he'll set up to throw. Throw on the run is complete. He's going to be taken down at about the 30. We saw him throw it like that last year in Columbus. He's got his guys a first down.
A lot could go wrong anytime you decide to put the ball in the air here late in the fourth quarter as you're trying to run out the clock and protect this lead. But at the same time, I like that they haven't gone super conservative, just handoff right, handoff left, and it just turns into tackling practice. So I like the balance of making the defense defend everything, because right now, possess the ball, protect the ball, and ultimately just run the clock out.
Timeout Seahawks. That is their second, and they'll have a chance to talk things over after picking up that first down. Here's Walker. And a good show of force there. He gets 4 tough yards out of that one.
And he's been on an absolute tear throughout this entire game, Mike. I mean, he's averaging over 10 yards per carry. And anytime you can run the ball with that explosiveness.
And he's into the end zone yet again. Kenneth Walker. Touchdown, Seattle. 3 touchdowns for the game. His first 3 of the year. Greg, that's the way to... Seahawks offense ready to take over possession of the football. The lead is 2, and they're going to try to make something happen here, starting with a 1st and 10. This drive starts on the ground with Walker. Angling to the sideline, inside the 35. And they're not going to run him down. He goes all the way. 70 yards. Touchdown, Seattle. Make it 4 touchdowns for him on the afternoon. Out comes the Seattle offense as they get ready for their next possession. They start with the lead and the football. They do so with tremendous field position. It's 1st and 10. Off play action. He'll set up to throw. First down throw there is incomplete.
He's already been a little reckless with his decision-making up until this point, Mike, and now it almost backfires on him again. He has to do a better job of finding the matchups, finding the space on the field, so everything is not a forced ball into these tight windows.
And now the defense is going to take their first time out. Remember, they get an extra one built in with the 2-minute warning coming up momentarily. You've got to consider this an absolute must-stop defensively. It's 3rd down. Now Seattle will use the final timeout. Talk things over before 3rd down. Off the play fake. He'll look to throw. This one just too far for the receiver. Out in front of him. That one falls incomplete. Jackson, Smith, and Jigba, the intended receiver. And it's going to bring up 4th down. Well, Seahawks offense getting their final instructions before heading back onto the field. Still 2 timeouts remaining for the defense, but do the math. Even if they choose to use them, 3 kneel downs should be enough to get out of here with a victory. They'll drop to throw. Oh, and a crusher there. He can't get a throwaway, and he's taken down. Now Pittsburgh will bang a timeout here. That's their second, and they'll get together prior to this second down play. Back to throw. Oh, a teardrop throw there off his back foot. It's complete. And the timeout comes. The whistle blows with 3 seconds remaining on the clock.
This is a really nice job of just finding a hole in coverage, Mike. And I used to say, hey, when you're open, stay open. That's the art of route running versus zone coverage. And it's a friendly target for the quarterback in space, and they're able to convert.
Here we go. One final play. And the final throw of the game winds up incomplete, and that will do it. This one comes to an end. So it's a win here for the visiting Seahawks. They were forced to travel cross-country. They get the early start, 10 a.m. on their body clocks. They're happy now. They come away with the victory.